Hi friends, this is Kristen from the Pros and Cons team, and today I'm really excited to talk to you about the pros and cons of training for a marathon. So, I trained for a marathon this last year and ran the marathon in September, and it was a good experience. But to start off with some of the pros, I loved that it helped get me into shape. I had had a really rough pregnancy where I was feeling sick and kind of got out of shape, and then running while you're pregnant is no joke. I did try it a couple times and I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much respect for women that can do this. So I was trying to get back into shape because running is a big part of who I feel like I am, and I love it. So it was really great to be able to get back into shape by training for a marathon. I feel like it's a great motivation because I was struggling just a little bit. Like, I was still running, but it was like, oh, I run and then I take off a day and then I run. Like, it wasn't as consistent. But then I was like, hey, I'm signed up for a marathon. Like, I need to run and I need to put in this many miles per week and all this stuff. And it was the motivation I needed because I was like, I cannot run the marathon without doing this. So that's a really great thing with training for a marathon. Another thing is you get to enjoy the outdoors. And for me, I love listening to books on tape. And so it was a great time because in the morning I would go, usually on my runs in the morning, and I would get to listen to a lot of a book while I was running. So that was really great. It also was a great motivation to help me get on a better schedule after kind of having a newborn and being up a lot of the night. It was really great to kind of have that schedule come back and be like, hey, I'm going to be up at this time so that I can run by this time and then I can get ready for the day by this time. So it was really good to have that schedule started, because I was like, that's the time of day I can run, is usually in the morning is the best time. So I really liked that with training for a marathon. Another thing is I feel like it helps you get more self-confident, where it's like, hey, I'm doing it. Like, I'm getting those miles in and all that stuff. And so it really builds confidence in yourself. Okay, moving on to some of the cons. It can lead to injury. Running a marathon is no joke. There are a lot of miles required to train accurately for it and not to have injury happen, but injuries will happen. And I remember, like, a couple of days before the race, I got so nervous because, like, my knee just started hurting and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to run 26 miles and I don't want to do tons of damage. So it was really stressful trying to figure that out and trying to baby my knee the week before the race so that it wasn't killing me during the race. So that's a con to training for a marathon. Another con is it takes so much time. Like, how long does it take you to run 6 or 8 miles? Like, that's a lot of time that you are committing, sometimes several times a week. You're committing at least I don't know, at least probably an average of about an hour a day, if not more when you're showering and all that stuff. And maybe a little bit less depending on how fast your miles are. But it can take a ton of time. Another thing is you can have things come up. Like, I was training during the summer, and you can need to go, or you go on a trip and you're still needing to train, and finding the time and where to train in a new place. That can be really hard, especially when you don't have a running buddy and you're exploring a new town while running. So that's a con. Another thing that is a con to running is it can get really monotonous. There are times where I was running mainly the same route just because it was early in the morning. I wanted to have a route that had several people, that I wasn't just like out in the middle of nowhere. And so I'd run the same route very consistently just for safety purposes, and it got super monotonous. And then I started like knowing, okay, this is the mile mark, this is the 2 mile mark, this is the 2.5, this is like the 3, because I like made it into so many routes. So that can be really annoying. So these are some of the pros and cons that I've thought of. There are more pros and cons that you can find out listed in the description below. Just click on the link. And if you'd like to add any other pros and cons, please add them in the comments below. I hope you have a great day. Bye.